That is why he gave me a chair to sit down if I am tired. I'm only 49. Plus. So many pluses. I don't get tired. God bless me in a wonderful way. I'm very healthy. I don't have a PhD. Do you know what is PhD? Pressure, heart, diabetic. Most of the Indian preachers will have PhD by the time they are 40. But I'm only 49. But I'll tell you the truth because I love you. I love the Kiwis. I'm 78. And God bless me in every way. Can I drink some water? When I'm frightened, I drink water. I'll tell a joke. I have so many jokes. I have 359 jokes, all numbered and kept in this hard disk. Ladies, give me a number and I will bring up that joke. Give me a number. 29? 29? That is my family joke. You want me to tell that family joke? I don't want to say, but this beautiful girl asked me to say joke number 29, so here it is. One day we were expecting two ladies from Jerusalem to come, this is a real story, come to my home for dinner. And so we were expecting them at 6 o'clock, 6 in the evening. But at 5 minutes before that, my last boy, who was only 6 years old, he did something wrong. So I took him to the bedroom and disciplined him. And he was crying. I said, wash your face and come to the dining table. We are expecting two guests in 2 minutes. He said, I don't want food. I said, I am the father. I decide whether you are eating or not. Come. And then the bell rang. I opened the door. Two ladies walked in. And I said, sit down. We have a round table for dinner. All of us sat down, 5 children, my wife, 1 wife and 5 children, that's right. And these 2 ladies. I introduced my family to these 2 ladies. I said, this is my wife, her name is Lily. My first son, second, and when I came to the last boy, he was sitting there with a sad face. So I thought, let me cheer him up. I said, this is my last son. His name is Ray, R-A-Y. And he's a very good, loving son. And I love him very much. One of the ladies looked at him and said, Ray, yes. Do you love your daddy too? He said, yes. Ray, why do you love your daddy? That 6-year-old boy, without thinking, replied like this. Because the Bible says, love your enemies. Now you know why I have no hair. Living with 5 children like that, and also a beautiful wife. Lily, stand up. Let the people see how beautiful you are. I bring greetings from India. India is a beautiful country. And in population, we are number 2 in the world. And we are angry. Why we should be number 2? Why can't we be number 1? China is number 1. We are number 2. But the statistics, those who can imagine, they say that by 2025, we will overtake China. As on today, our population is 1.3 billion people. You go to India, people are everywhere. There's no privacy. People are everywhere. I was born here in the extreme south of India. Now it is very easy to find out. When you will see an Indian, you don't have to ask, where are you from? India could be divided into 3 parts. South India, which is well evangelized. North India, which is least evangelized. Northeast India, which is very well evangelized. So if you'll find an Indian, you don't have to ask, where are you from? If you'll find a very healthy person, he must be from Punjab. Where are you? Here. If you'll find a very intelligent man, he must be from Calcutta. If you'll find a man with plenty money, he must be from Gujarat. But if you'll find a handsome man, he must be from here. I was born there by mistake. But I consider myself as a North Indian from Punjab. That is why I act. The people from South India, they don't move. They stand in one place. But I'm different. I was born in a rich man's house, in a Catholic family. We call it Orthodox Church, just like the sister church of Catholic Church. But I ran away from home when I was 19 years old. I joined the Indian Army. Indian Army gave me more bad habits. And when I was serving here in Kashmir, on October 1st, 1971, my wife forced me to go to a evangelistic tent meeting. I did not want to go. I was an atheist. I never believed in God. I was abusing God, really abusing God. But my wife forced me to go there. When I was coming back, sitting in the military vehicle, I was under conviction. And I said, Lord, I'm a sinner. I'm a great sinner. I was smoking 120 Camel cigarettes a day. My wife said after the wedding, after the marriage, she said, kissing my husband was like licking an ashtray. 120 cigarettes a day. Drinking from morning to night. And I needed money for that. I was not an officer. I was a soldier, clerk in the army office. And I needed money for my bad habits. So I was stealing things from the army camp and selling in the black market. I was a thief. I was a fighter. I was a bad boy. But on that day when I was coming back, sitting in the military vehicle, I prayed to Jesus, Jesus, come into my heart. I'm a great sinner. Will you save me too, just like you saved that man who preached the gospel? And it pleased the Lord to save me. When I extended my hand to him, he caught hold of it and he saved me. I came back home and I fell in love with my wife. It was an instant transformation. Sometimes for some people the transformations happen slowly. For some people it will be very slow. But for me it was fast. And I fell in love with my wife. And I told her, you heat the food and let me go and share the gospel with my neighbor. She said, do you know what time it is? I said, it's 10 p.m. And there was no electricity in that area at that time. Mountain area, Kashmir, the Himalayas. And everybody will be on the bed sleeping by 8:30. She said, all of them are sleeping. I said, that's okay, I can go to my neighbor. Because he's a private in the army, I'm a sergeant. I can misuse my authority. So I went and knocked on the door. He said, who is that? I said, this is Sergeant Vargis. What do you want, Sergeant? I said, open the door. He said, is it urgent? I said, this is very urgent. He opened the door, I walked in, and I shared the gospel to him. And people asked me, what did you share? You were born again only 1 hour before. Oh, I told him 4 things. Number 1, I was a sinner. Everybody knew that. Smoking 120 cigarettes a day, minimum, not maximum, minimum. And drinking and fighting, stealing, everybody knew that. I said, I was a sinner. Number 2, I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior. Number 3, he changed my life. Number 4, what he did for me, he can do for you. I preached 4 points. You can also do the same thing, very easy. After 3 months, I have a few stories to tell, but let me read a portion from the Bible. The Gospel of John, chapter 20. Do you know where is the Gospel of John? It is after the book of Genesis. Find it out. I never lie. I always tell the truth. So it is after the book of Genesis. Chapter 20, verse 10. Then the disciples went away again unto their own home. You know the story very well. Jesus died on the cross. Some people believe that it was on Friday. But some people who study the Bible, they know it could not be Friday. It could be on Thursday. Few people believe that it was on Wednesday. I don't know which day it was. Whatever it may be, that is a fact. Jesus died on the cross. And on the third day, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Jesus rose again. 3 women, they went to see the sepulchre and do some formalities there according to the Jewish culture of the land. Now 3 women, Bible says, when it was dark, 3 women went there. I want to stop them. And the leader is Mary Magdalene. I said, Mary, don't go. Why? I have 7 reasons to tell them why they should not go. Number 1, that place is about 3 miles away, 5 kilometers away. I was there 7 times. And I'll be there in April, so I know what I'm talking. It was about 5 kilometers away. Mary, you should not go. It is dark. A woman does not walk in the dark to an unknown place. Don't go. She will say, I will go. Why? I'll give you the answer later. Number 2, do you know where are you going? To a burial place where people are tortured and crucified. You want to go there? Their dead bodies buried there. You want to go there to the cemetery in the night? Don't go. She will say, I will go. Why? I will give the answer later what she will say. Number 3, the place is infested with Roman soldiers. Soldiers have a bad name everywhere when it comes to women. You should not go there. They will say, she will say, she said, I will go. Why? The most important, I have some points. The most important point, why are you going? They are carrying some medicines with them to apply on the dead body of Jesus. Now there's a cloth. Once when I was in New Zealand, I saw the cloth that covered the body of Jesus Christ. It was on exhibition here. I saw that. It could be the same or it may be fake. We do not know. And do you know what they are supposed to do? They are supposed to remove that cloth and see his naked body and apply the medicine. Can a woman do that to another man? Even if it is your brother, can you do that? If it is your father, can you do that? No. Ladies, don't go. Let the men come. Let Peter come. Let somebody else come. And not, I have 7 points to tell them not to go. But they will say, we will go. Why? Very simple. We love him. If you will love Jesus, you will do what others won't do. Even Peter is not going. John is not going. They are sleeping. But these ladies are going because they are dearly beloved brothers and sisters. If you will love Jesus, you will go to the church even if it is raining or snowing. You will give even if you don't have enough. You will share the gospel even if you are embarrassed. You will do what others won't do if you will love him. Let me tell you a few stories. In the morning I said 3 stories. I think I'll find time to say 3 stories. My stories are long. My messages are long. In India, we don't have a clock at the back. We have a calendar at the back. When somebody will change the calendar, we stop. But I cannot do this. This is New Zealand, not India. So let me start with my first story. I became a born-again Christian on 1st October 1971. After 3 months, the Christmas week, I don't remember the date. Before my conversion, I never liked my wife. It was an arranged marriage. I met my wife. I didn't speak to her. I did not like her. She was not good looking. I did not speak a word to her. People told me, go and talk to her. I said, no. But my mother said, I like her, you are going to marry her. I was a fool to marry her. And we started to fight because I did not like her. You know what is fighting? I know. New Zealand people don't know what is fighting. You don't fight. But we are from India. We eat green pepper. And we know how to fight. And we were fighting. We fought for 4 years. Before my conversion, I never took her for a walk. But after my conversion, I fell in love with her. And I thought, let this Miss India be seen by everybody. And wonder how this man got this girl. So I was taking her for a walk on the mountains of Himalayas. Just next, I'm living on the mountains. So one day on one mountain, second day on another mountain, third day on another mountain. During the Christmas week, what we used to do is we will walk. We will find a rock where we can sit. We will sing 2 songs. I did not know any song, but my wife is coming from an Anglican born-again family. So she knew some songs. We will sing 2 songs. And I will say my small prayer, and Lily will say her long prayer. And then we'll come back home. So during the Christmas week, we were sitting on a rock. We sang 2 songs. I remember one song, "The Rock of Ages Cleft for Me." My English was limited. My Bible knowledge was limited at that time. So I asked her what it means, cleft, rock. She explained the bosom of Jesus opened for us. I became emotional. And then I said my small prayer, and Lily started her beautiful long prayer. And I opened my eyes. I was looking at the blue Himalaya mountains, and I was crying. Then I saw a fire, another fire, another. I saw 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 fires. You can go to my webpage and see them. Or you can take a brochure at the back from the information counter and read them. You can hear my stories. You can go to my webpage or YouTube, Faith Today, YouTube. You can hear my stories. And let me explain. On the mountains, people are living there. The mountain people. You cannot see them in the daytime, but you can see them in the nighttime when they are cooking food if there's no rain in the open. So I was seeing the cooking fires. And I said, Lily, stop your prayer. Do you see those cooking fires? She said, we see them every day. I said, no, that is not what I'm talking. I said, Lily, do you see those? Lily, there is a family behind every fire. There's a family of 10, 15 people behind every fire. She said, we know that. I said, Lily, we are going to celebrate Christmas next week, but those people never heard there was a Christmas. She said, how they will hear? I said, Lily, I'm healthy. Let me go. She was frightened. She knew if I will go, I'll get killed and she will become a widow. She said, no, you are already preaching in the army camp. I'm a teacher. I can talk to my students about Jesus. We can be missionaries without becoming missionaries, but don't go. But I asked a funny question to her, a blunt question. Lily, should not they hear at least once there was a Christmas? The world had been celebrating Christmas for the last 2,000 years, but never they heard there was a Christmas. How they will go if somebody will not go? Let me go. She caught hold of my hand and said, yes, even I don't want to go, but if you will go, they have a right to hear at least once there was a Christmas. For that sake, I will come with you. Looking at those cooking fires, we dedicated our lives to reach the unreached at any cost. We left our job and we went to a place called Katra, K-A-T-R-A, the most famous Hindu pilgrim center of India. I did not know how to preach. I was a Christian only for 13 months. But I knew 3,000 people are coming there. I can stand on the street and distribute tracts, booklets, something, sell gospels. And I thought, let me do that. I went there. God was very kind to me. On the 6th month, we baptized 18 people. Now, you may think 18 is a small number. But believe me, nobody ever baptized 18 people in their lifetime in that state. We baptized on the 6th month, 18 people, 18 on the 7th month, 18 on the 8th month, and 76 on the 9th month. We got the largest church. One day, 5 people came to my home, my own converts. They said, You are a good preacher. We would like to preach like you. Can you start a Bible school? We are coming into your home. My home, it is a room of 10 by 10 feet. That is my bedroom, living room, dining room, toilet room, bathroom, every room. That is the only thing we had at that time. What should I say to them? No, I don't have the space. I don't have the money. I could not say that. I said, come in. They came, 5 men came into my house to stay with us and study the Bible. All the people, all the women in my village, they were looking at my wife and laughing and asking a funny question. What is happening in that room in the night? 6 men and 1 woman. They laughed, but I taught these men everything I knew. Thank God I did not know much, so my Bible school was over in 3 months' time. I loosed them all over North India. We don't go to South India. We don't go to Northeast India. Do you see these flames? These are not our churches. These are our mission headquarters. There are 30 to 100 pastors under each flame. This church had been very kind to us. You had been sending your pastor to India to conduct pastor seminar. So I want to say, thank you for sparing your pastor and also giving the money. Keep on doing that. Let me tell you that is how I got the vision. Let me tell you 2 more stories. God help me to finish on time. In 1979, a man from Orissa, this is a poor area, Bihar, this area. A man from here came to work with us. And he told me that there are poor people in his place. The women are going to the market with only a loin cloth, nothing on top. And the men are going to do business, whatever it may be, wearing only a G-string. I said, not in India. I'm from India. I traveled in India as a soldier. I said, not in India. Maybe somewhere in Africa. Or some small backward island in Indonesia. Not in India. He said, no, it's my village. So I sent him as a missionary there. Next year, I went there. I'm not a mission leader who is sitting behind the desk and running the mission. I'm a mission leader who goes to the mission field with them. So I went there next year. I fell in love with the poor people. I saw women, you may not believe it. I saw women walking to the market without nothing on top, only a little loin cloth here, little loin cloth. And I saw men going to the market or government office or somewhere to do business on their G-strings. I fell in love with that. I saw a 10-year-old girl without a string on their body. I fell in love with them. I came back and told these stories to my family. My wife and children said, we want to come with them. They have a missionary blood in their body. And I took them. In 1981, I took them there. It was a dangerous, risky travel. We traveled for 2 days in train. We reached a place called Raipur. And from there, we traveled for 10 hours by bus, changing 2 buses. And we reached a place called Nabarangpur in Orissa. And then we rested for the night. Lily prepared a wonderful meal because we knew for 2 months we are not going to have a good meal. And we washed our clothes. And next day we hired a taxi. You understand what is taxi? Maybe not. It is a bullock cart, ox cart. That is the taxi they have. So we had a taxi, a bullock cart. And we traveled. I'm telling you the truth. Nothing but the truth. God is my witness. We traveled 22 kilometers in 8 hours. The bullocks walking slowly. 8 hours. And we reached a village. We made a house for 50 rupees. How many New Zealand dollars? $2? 50? $1? For $1. Only hay, grass, nothing else. No doors, no windows, no floor, nothing. We stayed there for 2 months. We conducted crusades 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. Every evening in the market, I preached. I'm a hard worker. I preached. Nothing happened. We saw miracles after miracles, but not even one person got saved. When I was going back, I looked at my children who were skinny. They had boils all over their body because of disease, also the mosquito bites. And I was crying. And I said, Lord, I wasted God's money. Lord, I gambled the life of my wife and children. And not even one person saved. But God was so kind to me. In 17 years, we had about 75 Christian workers, and we have planted over 500 churches in that area in 17 years. I went there to preach again to the pastors. That is what I do. I go to a state, get all the pastors together, and I preach to them. And on the last day, the leader came to me and said, we have a half-built church building. Would you like to go there and dedicate it? I said, yes, let us go. We went there. I was standing outside and crying, Lord. I said, Lord, I gambled my life. I gambled my wife's life. I gambled my children's life. But I thank God that it is good. Now we have about 75 Christian workers. And we have planted about more than 500 churches. I'm so grateful to you. I was crying. And the leader came and saw me wiping tears. He said, you recognize this place? I said, no. He said, 17 years back, you, me, and your first son, we walked on this road. And your wife and 3 children, at that time we had 4 children, 3 children, they were in the bullock cart. He told me this. Wherever we stopped the bullock cart to have a glass of water from a tribal man's house, we stopped the bullock cart in 7 places. Now there are 7 churches, 1 each in the place where we stopped the bullock cart. And from every house, from where we had a glass of water, there is a full-time worker. And the village we stayed for 2 months, there is a revival going on, and 22 churches nearby. I said, Lord, send me again. I'm willing to go. And I talked to my leaders. I said, which is the hardest place? I'm not a gambler. I'm not a hero. I don't play like a hero. No. But I said, which is the hardest place I would like to go again, because that is what I promised God. And they said, Baripada. You heard that name, but you forgot. That is where Graham Staines, a missionary he was not a gospel missionary, he was a medical missionary from Australia, came and lived. They said, that is the most difficult, tough area. I said, I will go there. In 1999, no, we went there. 2009, we went there. He was martyred in 1999. We went there after 10 years. We stayed for the first day in a building without any light. And then we purchased firewood to cook food for a month. And we stayed for a month. We went to the same place where Graham Staines stood and preached his last message. She preached there. Next day morning, I stood outside because the church was so full. We did not have any space, so I stood outside the same place where he was martyred, where his blood was shed, and I preached the gospel. Then somebody came and whispered in my ear, the Hindus are marching in the same way they marched in to kill Graham Staines. I said, do they have weapons in their hands? They said, no. So I said, let me change the message, so that they will hear the gospel. Even if it is my last message, I want to preach to them. They came and sat there. I preached, who is my God? He's my provider. Who is my God? He's my life giver. Who is my God? And finally, who is my God? He's my Savior. When I finished my message, all the Hindus came and stood there. The ladies stood before Lily, and the men stood before me. And finally, the Hindu priest, in his uniform, in his garments, priestly garment, he came and stood before me, and he told me, I'm a sinner. Will you pray for me? We should have honored that man, but we killed him. Will you pray for me? I had the privilege to lay my hands on his head and pray for him. Let me go back to the story. When we were living in that hut, I was told that there is a flea market, weekly market. I like flea market, weekly market, because there will be a nurse, there could be a teacher to whom I can give a gospel packet. So I went there. I was moved. We had to walk. We did not have a bicycle at that time. So I went there. I stood there. And I saw people. I said, Lily, come here. I said, Lily, how many people could be there? She said, maybe 1,000. I said, Lily, look around. How many women and men? She said, 750 women and 250 men. I said, Lily, look around once again. How many women could be there without something on, with something on top? Only 3 women had something on top. I was emotional. God, I was crying. God said, do you love these people? I said, yes, Lord, I love them. God said, start a church here. I said, God, they don't need a message. They need food. They need clothes. They would like to have a house. God said, you are wrong. Start a church. I started a church. I sent a man by name Jason there. And he started a church. On the 3rd month, he wrote me a letter. I was back in my home in Punjab. He wrote me a letter. Please come. Something is happening. The people are so eager to hear the gospel, which does not happen very easily. So I went there. I preached the gospel. On the 3rd day, he was baptized. Pastor Jason was baptizing 35 people. I was standing on the shore of that pond, and I was dancing because I am taking 35 people to heaven. I was so happy. After 5 years, I went there again. At that time, the church has grown to 600 people. And I was standing there and preaching my message. The Lord is my shepherd. You can hear it on my YouTube. The Lord is my shepherd. My first message on that subject. The Lord is my shepherd. 5 points. Then I sat down. The elder of the church, that is our culture, stood up and said, Pastor, thank you for coming. I'm sitting on the chair. All of these are on the floor. He said, thank you for coming. He said, 5 years back, when you came to this village, no man had a pair of pants. Now look, all the men in this church have a pair of pants. He said, I'm so rich, I have 4 pairs of pajamas. A pajama is like a pants in India. And he said, 5 years back, when you came here, no women had anything on top. Now look, all the women have something on top. 5 years back, when you came to this village, no child had any underclothes. Now look, all the children have underclothes. And he said like this. He said, 5 years back when you came here, we were sacrificing our children. At least one child is sacrificed every month in this village. We were sacrificing our children to our gods. But after the first baptism, there is no child sacrifice in this village. But our relatives, those who are not members of the church, the women are still going to the market with only a little loincloth. The men are going to the government offices or anywhere in their G-strings. And in our neighboring villages, still there is child sacrifice. You gave us heaven twice. Do you know when you are sending a missionary to a mission field, what you are doing? There is a transformation of the whole village. My final story. How much time more I have? 12 minutes more. No, that is the time. I have only 1.5 minutes. Let me borrow 2-3 minutes more. I have the permission from your pastor. My last story. There is a river called Ganges. You can go to the Ganges. It starts from here, flows like this. It is the most sacred river of the Hindus. I like that river. Myself and my wife, we go there sometime, not to worship. Whenever we see that our love for God or love for people is diminishing, we go there. Once I went there, the first time, there is a place called Haridwar. That is a holy place. I was standing on the beach of that river. It's like an ocean, 3 kilometers wide. I was standing there, and there was a flood. So the river was overflowing. And there were about 500, this is an unbelievable story, about 500 people on the beach, people standing on foot, people sitting in the middle of a fire, ring of fire, and people lying on river nail bed. I was emotional. And then I was standing here talking to a man from Germany, a hippie. At that time there were hippies in India, coming from Western countries. And there was a hippie, I was talking to him. His name is Nelson, I never forget his name. Nelson, I was talking to him. But I could see a family at the lip of the river. It is unbelievable. 500 people, one family was looking at them. The woman was feeding her baby like this. I could not see their face. They were turned to the other side. But I could see her moving her hand like this. And the man, the husband, was staring. Looking at them, I knew they are from the villages. Poor people. And the man was staring at the baby. Then he picked up the baby, kissed the baby on both the cheeks. Then he gave the baby to the mother. The mother gave the baby a long kiss. Then he pulled the baby from the bosom of the mother and he threw the baby into the river. I love children. That is why I have 7 orphanages. The baby was gone. I saw the naked body of the baby floating in the air, making a shrieking voice. Ow! And the baby was gone. I ran to him. Others also came, but they returned in halfway because it is common there. I went and stood before them and I asked them a question. Sir, why did you do that? He was frozen. His wife was sitting there, pulling her hair and crying. I said, sir, are you too poor? He said, yes, I'm a poor man. Was it a girl? He said, no, it was a boy. Was it a cripple? No, it was a healthy boy. Are you too poor to take care of a child? He said, if the child should have been living, I should have kept him like a prince. Then why did you do that? He said, 2 weeks back, Goddess gang just appeared to my wife and demanded that we must sacrifice our only son so that we will get salvation for the whole family, moksha. I asked him a blunt, foolish question. Have you heard the name Jesus? I saw his eyes going like this. He said, I never heard that name. In which medical store I can buy it? He thought I'm talking about a medicine which he can buy and give to his hysteric wife. I said, no, I'm not talking about a medicine. I'm talking about the Son of God who came to this world, died on the cross. If you'll believe in him, you don't have to give any more sacrifice. He's the sacrifice. The mother sitting there, pulling her hair and crying. I could see hair hanging on her fingers. She raised her hand like this and said, Babuji, sir, why you did not come half an hour ago? If you should have come half an hour ago and told us this good news, maybe our child should have been living. People are, I sleep in my home for 50 nights, less than 50 nights. People ask me, why are you running like this? That question gave wings to my feet. But now compare with my first story. After a church was planted in that village, there is no child sacrifice. Here the 2 disciples we read in the Bible, after seeing that Jesus is risen again, go home and read it. There was enough proof in the cloth of Jesus Christ to tell them that the body of Jesus Christ is not stolen, but is risen. There was enough proof. But they went home. That is the saddest verse I can find in the whole Bible. Do you know why? Because there was a Mary standing outside the garden. It was only 200 meters or 200 meters or 400 feet, 200 meters from them. They did not dare, they did not care to go to her and tell her the good news. If they should have told her the good news, she should have been dancing. Her life should have been changed. But they did not care. Is it not cruel? Is it not apathy? My English is limited. You put words, what they have done. Cruel, apathy, no concern. They were not kind. They were not, you name it. But what about you? Is there not a crying Mary in your next house? A drug addict? A prostitute? A man who is going to hell? Are you concerned? Why to blame the disciples? Where are you? Will you go and share the gospel? Should not they hear, at least for the first time, that there was a Christmas? Will you go? We have 3 more months for the Christmas. Will you plan? Don't wait for the Christmas. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. I'm determined to whomsoever I will meet, I will share the gospel. One day I was sitting with the President of India. He asked me a foolish question, unwise question. What do you do? That was enough for me to open up my mind and share the gospel with him. Tell about Jesus to somebody. Will you do it? If you will not do it, who else will do it? If it is not today, when is the day? There is a Mary in your next house. There is a John in the next house. There is a Ramesh Patel in the next house. There is a Muhammad in the next house. Who will go? Who will say, Lord, I will try? Who will say, can we pray? Who will say, Lord, I will try? If you want to say, Lord, I will try, put your hand on your chest and say, Lord, I will try. Lord, I will try. Lord, I will try. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Wow, powerful stories. Challenging, confronting, inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. I want us to take up a love offering. PG Vargis will not be back with us tonight, and it's always good to bless those that come and minister here, and we can be a part of the great mission into India, 10,000 churches. He's got a vision to reach 1 million people in the next 9 years, I think he said, with the good news of Jesus Christ. And so we can partner with the Indian evangelical team and be a part of the million people that will no doubt